This show's about observations. You know, we talk about things that we see. And that's a very simple concept, but it's something that is not done enough, right?
Mhm.
Conversation about observation. And Brad, you saw something today that made us go, what are we doing?
Yeah. And that's the name of the segment. What are we doing? Yeah, I saw this today. I don't even know where I saw it, but I saved the image as soon as I saw it because I was like, I got to talk about this. Can we just slow down? Can we slow down here and talk about this? This is a grocery store somewhere that has tagged their food brands with what ethnicity, what color, what race the owner of the business is. Now, do we need this? Really? Like, is this not the definition of racism? That you're going to choose your food based on the color of the skin of the owner of it? I mean, for real. I instantly thought of this, okay? Are we not doing this? You go there, you know, you look like this, you go over there, or you look like this, you eat this food, or you make a decision based on this. Like it stopped me in my tracks because I don't know what to do with this.
I would
You know,
love to look if we have any, I just want to hear your thoughts.
yeah.
You gentle viewer, please tell us what your thoughts are on this image here because it is fascinating. Zinger says, "Whoa, is this for real?"
I'm pretty sure this is real. If this, I mean, look, you can zoom in on it. It doesn't look photoshopped.
Can you scroll down a little bit? Maybe we can see the brand here.
Well, like we got Goya.
No, the actual brand of the like. Is there any branding for the on the tags, price tags?
On the tags.
Right.
No, I tried to look into it. Like it, I don't know where.
Filter says giant food. I'm not familiar with giant food.
Giant food. Look, is this going to help anybody when you're picking out your rice? Like, is this really going to help you? I'm genuinely asking if this is something that you need to pick out your food, and if this is how you pick out your food. Like I don't know. I don't ever think about these things when I shop for food. Some might look at that and think that that's a problem, that I don't think about who owns the the company and what race they are. But you know, is this not a modern day version of this in some way? You got your, you know, your white owned businesses go that way. Your colored businesses go that way. Make your decision. So it just made me say, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we really going to go down this road? I mean, I really want to hear. I want to hear from somebody that thinks this is good, a good idea.
Like I would love to hear, you know, Latin person, Black person, whatever. However you identify, I like to call you a person, right? Mm-hmm. I would just love to hear your thoughts on this, right? If you feel like this is, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know. That's literally why we have this segment. What are we doing? We show you something, and we really don't have that much more to say about it because it's just one of those things where in this point in time, all you have to say is, what are we doing? It's something new every day.
I don't know. Go real quick. Can you scroll up real fast?
That's the whole picture, basically.
You know, actually, there's a really this is so our mother watches this show and she says I didn't even notice this teriyaki rice by a Black owned company. Are you crossing the line? Is that appropriation?
No,
I don't know.
It can't be. No way. Yeah, there's just too much. I don't understand the rules anymore. I think that's that's the point. I don't know what we're doing anymore. Can somebody please explain it to me?
Zen Gamer Max comes in and says, Hispanic living in South Texas. We've had a Hispanic foods aisle in most parts of Texas, but I usually look for certain types of candy in Topo Chico. Right. I think there's a difference between having an aisle for Italian food or Hispanic food as opposed to having an aisle that says Hispanic owned, right? Or black owned or white owned. Like that's like I think having an aisle for those things, that just makes it easier to find those things, right? That's for the ease of the shopper. I need to find some noodles for my pasta. Okay, well go down the pasta aisle. I need to find some meat for some stew. Go down the meat aisle. I need some tortillas for some tacos. You go down the Mexican food aisle, right? It just makes it easier to find those things. But if they were to take those aisles and put them into broken, I can't even believe I'm saying this. It's insane. The idea of taking those aisles and saying this is where the white companies are. This is where the black companies are. These are the Hispanic. Like, Mike, what are we doing?
Yeah. What I'd like to see is more of this store, because I'm curious to know if that label is on every single food label and every single food in the entire store. Like, is this on every single thing, or is this just the rice aisle? I don't know.
Travis comes in. He says, having said that, I think in this day and age, I get what they're doing. They're trying to say, if you think there was racial injustice in the world, then you can support a black-owned company to help them out if you want, or whatever. Having said that, I think it's stupid, and I think it's going too far, and I think doing something like this makes it so anyone is going to get offended about anything. And I think it just helps people get offended, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe we're on that train. Maybe we fell into it. But for me, it's legitimately just modern day segregation. It's just it's just segregation. There's no modern day. It's just segregation. It creates another point of divisiveness. And the beautiful thing about having any sort of capitalist entity or country or environment is the idea that if your product is good, it will survive. If your product is deemed better than the others, it will be successful. The market decides which stays and which goes. So
I could understand that the idea, because people do think this way. Like, if there's racial injustice in the world, you want to know who owns a company, right? And so you might think that, like, well, I should support the black owned company because if you're in the line of thinking like, well, these certain people over here in column A need more support than people in column B, if that's the way you think, then this is how you're going to choose your food. But then you're going to get your cart filled up, and then you're going to be like, okay, I've got 12 Hispanic owned companies. I've got 12 black owned companies. I've got 12 white owned like, it's shopping. It's just a grocery basket full of food. And really, like, okay, so let's say you buy that certain food and you don't like it. Do you keep buying it just because of the race of the owner? And not just who owns it, but how many employees are at that company? What's the racial percentage? What's the span there? How's the diversity there? Let's get deep into this, right? Like, you can't just slap a label on things. But anyway, I'm going to pull back from this, let you guys just absorb it.
Chancho says, as a Mexican, I look at it as this. Don't you feel sorry for the brown person? Throw them a few bucks and make them feel better about yourself. Right. That's
And imagine
I don't know.
Imagine you don't like it. Like, imagine you don't like the rice, and you're like, geez, it's really not that good. Their product's not really that good, but I feel bad for them, so I'm just going to keep supporting their business. Like, it just creates a whole big mess of bleh. It doesn't mean anything.
The beautiful thing about this is that beautiful thing about doing this show live is that we can get help from folks. And Vilcher sent this over to me just now via the whispers on Twitch. This is a statement. This is the statement of Giant Foods. This is the food article from supermarketnews.com, everyone's favorite website for supermarket news. Giant Food to highlight minority owners, suppliers on shelves. Okay, the statement from Giant President Ira Kreis. Giant Food is proud to better highlight our diverse suppliers. We're committed to making it easier for customers to identify product attributes that are important to them by fostering a diverse and inclusive network of suppliers that reflect the unique backgrounds and experience of our Giant family, our customers and communities. Awesome. So that's their statement right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once again, I think in an environment, especially like a supermarket, the best product wins. That's just how it works, right? Now, I'll give you one guess as to the ethnicity of the president of Giant Foods, Ira Kreis. One guess.
I'm not going to say anything, Craig, because if I
Ding,
make
ding,
a
ding,
guess,
ding, ding.
okay,
It's a white guy.
Okay,
it's a white
okay.
guy. So
I was scared. I got scared there.
Is this a white guy telling everybody how, like, is he white splaining? I don't know. I'm just, it just seems
Right now it becomes like, oh, the question is like, hey, are these other companies selling more now because they needed the help of the white guy? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know these things.
Can't
I
win.
certainly did not expect to talk about that for 15 minutes.
I did not either. We can move on.
Oh man. Travis says this conversation should be had, but for sure not over food.
Yeah.
I didn't know that grocery store chains felt the need to get in touch to the social conversation, but that's great.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe rice is highlight. Maybe rice is just a big deal in this country right now because Uncle Ben's rice got changed around and they removed Uncle Ben from the logo, and rice is just, it's really important to know. I
want to take these last two comments here from the chat, and these are outstanding here. Tattoo Game says, my biggest question is, how is this helping us in the long run? The only thing it's doing is separating us on a global scale instead of bringing us together. And then GoFundMe's with the opposite side of the coin, saying, I would not consider it segregation per se. We are forcing anyone to make a purchase because of color, but it could be perceived as encouraging discrimination or supporting the race you want to support, right? So let's just say a Hispanic guy goes in, right, and he sees that there's I don't know if there's white owned labels on the business. I don't know. They didn't show it on there, but let's just say the Hispanic guy goes in and he looks at there's one that says white owned, there's one that says black owned, right? And he's like, I don't trust that. Insert whatever owned here, right? And he decides to go with that because he has a little bit of racism in him, I like it could, like this, these type of things could potentially divide even further, which is fascinating to think about.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, because instead of looking at each other going like, oh, you do a great job, it's not as simple as that anymore. Like, oh, your rice is great. You do a great job making rice. It's not as simple as that. It can't be.